Hello there, creative friends. My name is Lhey Ralston. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello and welcome. Today I want to share something that's been bringing me so much joy in my sketchbook lately. The Caran Neocolor II, the water-soluble crayons. If you have never tried them before, these beauties are a dream to work with. They are highly pigmented, they're blendable, and my favorite part, water soluble. It means that you can use them dry for rich, vibrant colors, or you can activate them with water for a very soft, painterly effect. I have been reaching for these a lot lately because they make art feel so effortless and fun. I feel like a little kid again, whether I'm layering, blending, or just letting the colors flow with the water. They truly add such a beautiful touch to my sketchbook pages. In today's video, I will be sharing a simple way that I have been using the Neocolor II in my sketchbook. Really, no pressure, no complicated techniques, just a very relaxed, creative playtime. I'll show you how they react with water, some blending tips, and how they bring a soft yet vibrant energy to my art. So grab your sketchbook, get cozy with me, and let's create together. We'll just find an empty blank page here. We're going to use this one. So as you can see, I've had them for a very long time. For a while, I was not using them because, you know what, I really don't know the reason why. Maybe I have them put away. And then, of course, you know, with everything, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Now, you can use these pencils directly. I say pencil, I apologize. I may be calling them crayons, I may be calling them sticks or pencils. So you know what, just bear with me here. Okay, so you can use it directly onto the paper, just like that. And I'm going to use it here. And we're going to do a little bit of blending just so you can see that you can blend with them. So I'm going to add a little bit. So this one is the rose color and this one is the purple color. So I want to do a little bit of gradient from the purple to the lighter color. So after I add my darker shade, I'm going to go back in and just kind of like add the rose color and blend all of this here. You can even kind of go really lightly, just, you know, don't be mindful of the amount of pressure you're using when you're going over or on top of your darkest shade, because you really don't want to take all of that dark. You want to keep a little bit of that dark to really create this beautiful gradient. And if you feel like, oh, you know what, I took out so much, I blended out so much of that color, then you can always come back in and just kind of like add in and then, you know, repeat the process and go back in with your light and then apply some pressure to blend and all that. So you can blend with this and the results are really pretty. Now this one is a watercolor paper, so you're going to see a whole lot of texture because this one is using cold press, but I just kind of picked this one for some reason, I don't know. Now we're going to use some water this time around to blend this. I'm just going to use a water brush because my water in my bowl at the moment is really super dirty. So we're just going to work with what I have. I'm going to go on top of the purple, right? And then I'm just going to gradually just go down here and blend all of that. Now, I'm not trying to blend perfectly. I just really want to show you that you can blend it with water and get like stunning results. So you can use it blending dry, and then you can use it blending wet. And as you can see, the pigments are really so opaque and vibrant. And you can use this as a kind of like a watercolor like this also, kind of like pick up directly from your stick and then just use it as a watercolor. Just like that. You know, you can create really fun art with this one. So I'm going to go create just a pretty floral pretty rose simple. Now it depends on your water brush, how much water it's actually pushing through. With this one, it has a really nice flow. This particular one that I'm using that I grabbed, I do have a lot of water brushes from many different brands, but this particular one right here that I'm using is from Altenew. So I kind of like squeeze a little bit. If you feel like your brush is getting a little too dry, and I really want to kind of like blend all these petals right here. So I just squeezed a little bit to get that water flowing. So the thing is, once they're dry, I'm going to compare this one to the Faber-Castell Gelatos. If you're not familiar with the Faber-Castell Gelatos, it is also a water-soluble pigment sticks. I'm going to see if I have any in here. Okay, so this one is a lavender. Now, this one is the Faber-Castell Gelatos. It has this it's same same mechanism as a lip gloss. You twist it underneath to reveal your pigment, your stick, like that. And then you can just, again, if you don't want a whole lot of that exposed, then you can just kind of like twist it the other way. So like the Caran, you can use it directly onto your paper. Now this one is super duper creamy, the Gelatos, right? I'm gonna apply just 2 so we can test it. And as you can see, I've used, quite a few in there because it is creamy. So one thing to remember when using, both are really creamy, but the Gelatos would be, much more creamier than the Caran. Okay, I should add a little bit more here. I'm gonna grab something darker. This one is the one that I've grabbed. This one is the metallic grapes. Now this one is going to have that metallic sheen to it. Oop, I don't have a whole lot of this one anymore. So we're just going to use a little bit. There's a lot of crumbles. This one's probably much older. I'm going to add one right here. Now the ease of use, I would give it to the Caran just because of the shape. Now I know a lot of people that are sharpening this one to create that tapered, a much pointier tip, but I feel like that's wasting so much. So I don't know if I would do that. I would feel like, oh my gosh, every single time I would shave it, there's like, unless I would get a well, and then that's where I would put in, the parts of the stick that I sharpened, then I can create kind of like a watercolor from that. Okay, so the Gelatos, you can, go over it and then blend it with the same color. But the thing that I love doing with the Gelatos, just because it is super creamy, you can mix and blend it with your finger and smudge it this way. Then that way you can do some blending. Now, of course, if you will be doing this technique, it's going to be really difficult to create a very intricate or a detailed project doing this unless you have, another tool other than your finger. But the one thing that I love about the Gelatos is that I use this for mixed media as well. But the one thing that I enjoy the most is that once they're dry and blended, they are going to be permanent. So you can use it for backgrounds and know that if you allow some time to let it dry and let it sit there for just a bit, then know that that layer is going to be permanent, and you can, you can draw or paint on top of it and it's not going to move. So this one, that metallic grape has a lot of kind of like little tiny pigments because I've probably had this for a while, either that or I've left it open for a little bit. But you know, I always get this question, will I still be able to use it even when they're like looking a little dry and crumbly? The answer to that is yes. Those are like pigments. Those are like pure pigments, you know, that you can definitely use after. So I have a lot of extra pigments on my brush that I want to unload. All right, so like with a Caran dash, you can use it as a watercolor, pick up, you know, some of that pigments directly from there and create some beautiful artwork like a watercolor. Okay, but we're not here to talk about the Gelatos. I'm just going to set that aside, but I wanted to give you a little bit of comparison um, because the two are very similar, at least for me. Okay, I'm going to draw fruits today, so I'll start with a lemon. We're going to make some kawaii fruits. So I'm just going to draw using the pencil itself. This one looks more like a mango. Yeah, I have a brighter yellow than this one, but sorry, this is the one I picked, so please don't come at me, internet. So as you can see, I used it for my drawing, and then I'm going to fill in this shape right here and just fill it with a lot of color. All right, and I'm using very light to medium pressure. I'm not trying to burnish the color in here. I want to add just a touch of green in some areas right here. Now again, we can either blend these, you know, using just the first technique that we did, kind of like, you know, adding another color and then use the other color to burnish or smudge and blend. But one thing I'm going to share with you how I personally love using them. So I'm going to just do that, leave it as that. And then I'm going to use another color green. I'll stick with the green with this. Add my leaves. The leaves. You can connect it there. So you can create like sharp, fine lines, details. I think the more you use it, I think you'll figure out, even though, you know, I don't have a pointy tip, I kind of like use the sides or the edges of that side to create like a line. And, you know, but because I've been practicing with it. All right, so now that they're blended, I'm going to make sure that my brush is clean, just because we've used pink and I don't really want to use the pink on top of this. All right, so I'm just going to go squeeze it, add a little bit of water. I'm going to start with just the yellow parts first. Make sure that I blend that well. And by doing this, I know I'm going to have a lot of my yellow on my brush. So if what you want to do is kind of like, if you have a scratch paper or, you know, a napkin, then make sure to kind of like unload some of that pigments that you picked up. So, you know, you can blend the green on top of the yellow and you can really see the color green instead of just kind of like blending it too much with the yellow that is left over in your brush. So we're just going to go and blend it just like that. I'll do the same, squeeze a little bit and then blend this green side over here like this. Now I'm not sure if you are familiar with my work. I really do enjoy creating some kawaii art or some whimsical type of drawings. But this year, my goal is to create a more childlike, because kawaii, the way kawaii works is that they're very graphical looking, you know, very simple, very clean shapes. So to me, it's like a very graphic looking type of art. But this year, I want to let loose and create a more textured, really mixed media heavy type of art, because I want to learn how to create children's book illustrations. So, you know, it's going to take a while. It might not be this year. Maybe this year is, you know, for just developing that type of style and really growing in the mixed media world, you know, understanding, because I will be completely changing my style from the kawaii to a more whimsical, childlike illustration. So maybe this year is not the year I'm going to write a book. Maybe this year is just a year where I'm going to explore that side. And either way, I'll be okay with that. I will enjoy it. I will enjoy the journey. And, you know, I'll try to upload videos of me trying to learn. Maybe some of you are also thinking about, you know, that whimsical, childlike children's book style of illustration. Welcome. You know, I'm happy to have you here. Maybe we can do this journey together, you know, learn and explore different types of medium that we can use to add texture in our work. So yep, now I'm just picking up some of the green. I really want to just add a little bit more like that. Right, just a little. I don't really want that to pop. While this is drying, I'm going to dry this off camera. I will be right back. Okay, so I figured while my lemon is still drying, I'm going to create a strawberry over here on the other side. I'm using the color rose, or pink. Actually, it is pink. Because there's different names, just because it just depends from which country you're from. But the English name is pink. Just gonna add a little bit of red to this one for the strawberry. I don't want it to be completely red, and I don't want it to be completely pink, so almost creating like a gradient color in here for both. This one, I'm going to stay very loose, and I'm just going to use the Caran dash directly to blend and create this beautiful gradient without using any water over area. So almost like our light source for the strawberry is right smack in the middle. It's almost like a spotlight to the strawberry. I'm going to add some green over there in a little bit. So then I'm going to go back in with the red, like let that pop a little bit. And this is my opportunity now to add some textures to my drawing. So now it's building up also. So as you can see, because of the cold press texture of the paper, we're automatically getting some textures in there just because of the type of paper that I use, right? Because of the surface. So the surface is really textured, so parts of that paper is like peeking through, and that's fun. I love it. I actually love it. If I'm going to use water pencils in here, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to cover that up. But using the pigment sticks, which is, you know, the Caran dash, the Neocolor is a little creamy. It's much easier to kind of like cover up parts of that texture. So now I'm going to go back in with my red, or this is the scarlet color, and just really blend it up. I'm going to add a little bit of here because I feel like this is like too concentrated pink. Not loving that. I want to still to be the lightest part. I'm just going to go back in again with my pink color, and I think you're good to go. Now, if you have a darker red, and if you want to add a little bit more contrast, which I do, I have the carmine in here. I'm just adding a bit more, and almost like letting this one shine through by adding some textures. I'm not going to blend this one, just adding some strokes, like messy strokes in here. I'm going to leave it just like that. So, and then you can also, I would sometimes go on the side and just kind of like do some short strokes to create like almost like a messy edge of the drawing. You know, so it's not perfect and it's not clean, but you're just adding some messy edge in that. Just like that. And now I'm going to use some green color. We're just going to use the same green in here. So for the this time I'm really adding some pressure, especially for the ones that I have some red, to kind of really blend that. Get in there. If you want to use mixed media and you want the leaves to be more opaque, what you can do is use your Posca first, or an acrylic marker like the Edding US, or whichever brand that you have. You can use the Posca markers to really cover up that part of the strawberry in here. But this time it looks like translucent, you know, the leaves are translucent and it's not really covering that part of the strawberry, but it's okay. I mean, we're doing this for just like for fun, and also parts of that is kind of like, you know, it's really to test out our medium in here. So Neocolor Caran Neocolor II. The Neocolor one is their pastel edition. That one is not water soluble, and I've heard, I don't have any of it, but from the reviews that I've heard, it is more it's not as creamy as a Neo Pastel 2. So there we go. I mean, do not take my word from it. You know, I have just watched some YouTube channel just like you. The color that I used for the darker green would be an emerald green. So I mean, I can go in and just kind of like blend it, but let's see, maybe I can add more texture on top of this after I blended it out. Then I'm going to go back in and just add more messy strokes. Go, you're fine. Now for white, the white color would, you know, it would stay on top of things, but it's not going to be as opaque as you think. Okay, make sure also your white color is clean. Just because I've smudged it and used it on top of many other colors, sometimes there's like leftovers. So I have like a pink in there, so I want to get rid of that. But most of the time, most often than not, actually, I use some acrylic markers to add some color on top of that. So let's use the Posca, the ones that I have. You shake, shake, shake. And then we'll just add some, oops, yellow to it. Some seeds for our strawberry. See how opaque the acrylic markers are? So it's really, really fun when you mix and use your medias and your supplies. You know, that's called mixed media. Just really exploring and having fun. Now I want to add a little bit of white dots. This one is dry already. I'm gonna grab my white in here, white Posca, and make sure to really shake it to get that ink flow. It's also like a workout. So, but I'm gonna add some texture to this one. Oops, I almost. So when it's blended, you can come back in and use the same color if you'd like, or something darker or something lighter, you know, to add some texture to it. I have like this pale yellow. You can actually use it to add like line texture in there, you know, if you want, or a darker, maybe a little bit more of a orangey tone to it. But then it's not going to be lemon. It's more like mango. This one is orange. Just go in there. If you don't have the color in the Caran d'Ache, then you can use some colored pencils on top of it. So let's say I'm going to use, this one is the Supra color. You can go in there and just add a little bit of texture. But notice that we're not getting a whole lot of texture with our lemon because we've blended it with water, and there's not a lot of that paper, the texture of the paper peeking through. Notice how much texture I have in here, and this one is smooth and blended. It doesn't matter how many, you know, colored pencils we add on top of this one. It's going to be a different texture, right? So this one I'm adding just slightly darker yellow. So I'm going in with just really some scribbles and short strokes to bring back that texture that I want, that I love, like this. So yes, you can add some pencils on top of your blended, watered down Caran d'Ache, just like that. probably go in with some green and just kind of like add a little bit of, you know, short strokes, messy edge type of drawing scribbles. Just right there. We should use yellow, but I really love that. Oops, that one's too much. Don't like that. I should have probably used lighter green than this one, but this one is the first one that I've picked up. Now, if you don't like it, just, you know, go in there and add, you know, some lighter green so you can blend it, or a yellow, and just blend that part. This one is a lighter green, and then maybe just to kind of like balance it out, just I'm gonna add a little bit there too on the other side. Not too serious. Now I'm gonna go in with my darkest green that I've used. So I'm just gonna go line and add some textures here for my leaves. As you can see, I'm just gonna like going over it many times to create that, you know, a messy line. This one's still a little wet, so I can see that the colored pencils is kind of like, it's resisting that colored pencils. It's okay. You come back in and just kind of like add texture in there. You can use the, let's see if we can use same green, but you know, the color is so similar. We can use the emerald green in here and just kind of like add texture on top, and it'll be okay. But I want to show you how different the results are going to be, you know. So if you use pencils, it's more detailed, more that. If you use the Caran dash, it's going to be more more of this bigger strokes, you know, colored pencil strokes, just like that. So I'm adding a little bit here so you can see, and then I want to go back in with my yellow to kind of like, you know, fade it out a little bit. And the strokes of the colored pencils that we've created is still there. You know, we're just blending this green part right there at the bottom, just like that. So there's so many different ways. I feel like the problem with me now is stopping part. Where's my stopping part? Right here. Because I feel like I can just keep playing and playing, but this is how I explore. So when you try and explore a new medium, try not to do like a super complicated artwork, you know, that it's going to take a little bit to finish. And when you're exploring just a new medium, use, you know, draw some simple shapes, a ball, you know, a sun, you know, something that you're already very confident in drawing. Sky, you know, clouds, just something very simple, and then just play with your medium. Really try it, have fun with it. Now I'm going in with my white. You can use the white to kind of like, you know, lighten parts of the areas over here, or to add some highlights, you know, or to blend it out. So it just depends. See how you like, you know, just play around with it and see what the results that you're going to get. So now I'm going to go in with my Posca. I'm going to add those textures of that white simple dots. I'm just going to get in there to create like really white. Some textures. Now the acrylic pens, they would be quick to dry. That's why I love using it. Fast to dry. And then depending on the tip of your acrylic markers, of course, you know, this one, I believe that this is their medium size tip. They also have like a extra fine, which is like a 0.7, I believe. So you can use that. I'm gonna go in here and just add some highlights also. All right, we're almost done. I'm just finishing the highlight. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna add some kawaii faces to this, but really this is it. I really hope that you enjoy this very simple demonstration how I love using my Caran Neocolor II. If you enjoy videos like this, I do hope you consider subscribing to my channel. If you enjoy this video, also please don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help my channel a lot. Until next one, stay creative and stay happy. Bye guys.